about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. Amen. Jesus, keep me near the cross. There's a precious fountain, free to all, a healing stream flows from Calvary's mountain. preach from the subject, truth that hurts. Truth that hurts. Jesus began teaching them many things. How he must suffer, be rejected of the elders and of the folk who thought they mattered. And he spake that openly to them. And when he had turned about, looked on his disciples, Peter, after having rebuked him for saying this stuff would happen, Jesus said, "Get thee behind me, Satan, because you savorist. You value the things that be of men, not the things that be of God." When I read this text, it brings me to mind of those enduring words from Colonel Nathan Jessup, played by Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, when he said, "You can't handle the truth." Truth is not always endearing and enjoyable. I've said many times, and I still say, that he who compliments everyone compliments no one. Truth is not always complimentary. It's freeing, but not always appealing. Prophecies to crowds declaring that everybody has a word of victory is not only not practical, it's not biblical. Truth by nature defines. And anything that defines includes and excludes. As a truth, I can declare I'm a man. That includes some things, but it also excludes some things. I can say I'm a Christian. That includes some things, but by definition, it also excludes some things. So anything that defines both includes and excludes. Truth always defines. There has to be inclusion and exclusion because everything has an opposite. In order to say I'm going left means there has to be a right. In order to say I'm going up means there has to be a down. If you're going north, there has to be a south. Truth always includes and excludes. So if truth also appeals, it must also sometimes not appeal. Jesus spoke the truth. And when I say Jesus spoke the truth, that has a different meaning. In fact, I'll say Jesus spoke truth because that has a different meaning than saying Jesus spoke the truth. One can tell the truth with a deceptive motive. Just because someone is telling the truth doesn't mean they mean you good. People will use the facts to deceive you. But when I say Jesus spoke truth, I'm suggesting that Jesus' motives were always pure. His motives, his intention was always based on truth. He was never up to no good. Help me if you can. And so even though truth hurts sometimes, Jesus never told the truth to hurt folk. He told the truth to help folk. And if it hurts you in the process, sometimes good medicine doesn't go down so good. Love mandates that truth be told. To withhold the truth so that you can appease people is self-centered, not motivated by love. Truth sometimes hurts, but it's always intended for good. Good parents will tell their children when they need to bathe. I wish I had some help here. And while I'm on this street, isn't it amazing that people will say, I don't force my children to go to church because when they get old, I don't want them to reject church because I made them go. But you ought to make them bathe. You ought to make them brush their teeth. You ought to make them eat the right foods. And common sense tells you when they grow up, they won't depart from that. Love requires that you tell the truth, not just saying facts, but have a truthful agenda when you speak. Why did you just say what you said? Did you say that to prove you had the right to say it? That's self-serving. Or did you say it because you authentically meant good to the person you said it to? Love requires that truth be told, even when truth is abrasive. What truth ought we tell? Well, Jesus, right here in these verses we read, displays for us the truth that ought to be told. Number one, truth must be told about oneself. That's the A portion of verse 31. Who are you? Now here's the frightening thing. Most people don't know who they are. Most people are just trying to fit in the fad of the crowd they fit in. They're just trying to do what the crowd wants done. But they do not know authentically who they are. If you're going to know who you are, you have to have a life's mission. Something that's worth dying for. The fact of the matter is you haven't begun living until you found a cause worth dying for.